Today's episode is brought to you by Forvis Mazars.
SoundCartel.
From SoundCartel, I'm Nicole Goodman, and this is Business Essentials Daily. The best inventions are those that provide solutions. The problem Cinzia Cozzolino faced, like a lot of single mums, was providing her fussy daughter a quick, easy-to-make, nutritional school meal. So she threw a whole heap of wholesome ingredients into a blender and voila! It was the genesis to the smoothie bomb, a tube with 5 bombs made up of yummy ingredients for 5 separate meals. People couldn't get enough. Soon, the smoothie bombs were in hundreds of cafes, supermarkets and stores across the country. Cinzia has since launched into overseas markets and she's won a slew of awards along the way. But as she tells Chris Ashmore, it was a steep learning curve in the beginning.
We didn't know anything about ads and marketing, and so we had them all in these places, but we weren't really knowing how to sell them. People didn't know what they were on the shelf. Like there was these things, but what are they, And that we worked out that really the best way for us to sell the product is to talk to the customer direct. And that's when our website came up, and then it sort of really came together because Facebook and Instagram were all around the same time. So we kind of jumped on that bandwagon very quickly and gained a huge following because we could show how the product was used, the idea of it, and we drew in a lot of online customers from that.
Can you briefly explain how it works, that tube?
What it is, it's a ball. It's like a little bomb. So a tube has 5 of them inside. So you get to make 5 smoothies from one tube. So in that bomb, in the ball that's in there, it has 10 ingredients, and you crumble it into a blender with some milk and a piece of fruit. And so in that ball, though, it's got nuts and seeds and superfoods and fibre and a dry fruit, and like there's all these extra kind of nutrients in there to make it not only gives it flavour, but it also gives it nutrition.
Right. And where did that idea come from?
I just made it up. I've got to say, I made it up. It was 2011. I've looked around now and there have been possibly, to my count, maybe 25 other brands that have copied it, which initially I used to feel really angry when I'd see it. And then I'm like, you know what? All that's saying is that I'm onto a good thing and I'm pretty brilliant. It was my idea.
Absolutely. Now, any particular challenges in the early days? Anything perhaps that you would do differently today if you were to start again?
Oh, look, you don't have to be perfect to start. You're just going to get it out there and see that there's actually a need in the market. I know a lot of brands, including us at the time, we felt like we had to do everything right before we launched. And I just think you don't. I think you just need to get it out. I think also really making sure you have contracts in place with your manufacturer, checking your IP. Like we had issues with our IP several years back where I had bought the URL thesmoothiebombs.com, but I hadn't bought smoothieBombs.com. And then someone, what they call cyber squatting, my competitor in the US, bought Smoothie Bombs and they basically redirected anyone that did smoothieBombs.com was going to their website, which I took them to court and I won, and they had to give me that back. But they're things that now when I talk to anyone that wants to start a business, I always say, go get your name, get it done straight away. If you're thinking if you want longevity, you've got to look at that, especially in this day and age where social media, so many people can see your brand and they can copy you. So you need to make sure that the brand name is safe with you and no one can actually use that name.
Right. Now, you've expanded overseas. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we went overseas again purely because there was a demand. We had social media, so we had people contacting us, brands from all over the world saying, can we take you in there? We've been in the US for nearly 8 years because there have been stores there that have contacted us saying, can we have your stuff? Like we were in Macy's for a while.
Wow.
We were in Anthropology, which is a big US chain store that they contacted me because they'd seen me on social media and they wanted something unique and different in their store. So we did that. And I think once we got through the whole exporting thing, and that's a big thing as well, like going into the US, you need to do a lot of paperwork, especially if you're a food. So you got to deal with the FDA and you've got to, I did all that. We even changed, we had American tubes. We had to change the way we did the nutritional panels for the US. So we did all that. And I really did it for the US because I thought that's a market that's going to love my product. But we've also we're in New Zealand, we're in Singapore, we're in Tahiti, we've been in Dubai. And really, it's never been me sitting down going, oh, okay, I'm going to plan to go. It's just them contacting me and me going, well, how am I going to do it? Like, I never say no. I go, yeah, sure. And then I try and work out how I'm going to get into that country.
Right. You would lean heavily on your suppliers, wouldn't you?
Yes, we do. And that's sometimes really frustrating, especially during the COVID period because, you're reliant on those things being able to get into the country. And I've got ingredients like spirulina and matcha and even raw cacao. Even chocolate is not made in Australia. Coconut's not in Australia. So everything comes in from outside. So if there's a supply chain issue, well, then it's going to affect my production. Luckily, I was fine during COVID. We had really good supply chain because a lot of stock was still here. It's only now that we're starting to see it. It's like now that the containers have quadrupled in price coming in. So all the prices are going up. Businesses have gone down. So therefore, stock hasn't come in or there's old stock. You don't get that long shelf life that you need. So you've got to say no. And so some things have been an issue, but I try most of all to try and buy Australian as much as I can. Like my protein range is pretty much Australian because I can do that. But with some of the superfoods, it's really hard to get Australian because they don't exist here.
Now, you've won a few awards, and congratulations.
Thank you.
How important are these awards for your business?
I think they're great because they do give a new customer that comes to the platform, they think, oh, like these guys have been around, like showing that confidence of buying something new. It helps to have that community there and showing that the brand has won awards is part of that. So, and reviews are all part of that as well. Like it's really important for brands to get that sort of assurance that the product's fine because other people like it. So, and that's the same as the awards. It makes you feel more trustworthy. I know. I mean, I think about me when I go into a bottle shop and buy wine. If I see if I see an award on it, I think, oh, okay, that mustn't be bad. So that it's that type of feeling when you have awards that you think, oh, other people think it's good, so it must be okay.
Well, finally, you've done extremely well since you've started, but what's the future like for the Smoothie Bomb?
Well, we all know that this next year, 2023, is going to be a tough one. According to The Economist, that there is, we've got to all be aware of the fact that there's a recession and it's looming. It's already in other parts of the world. So I think this coming year, I'm just going to put my head down and work on our main products and really concentrate on them rather than go too widespread and get in too many new things, which is something I do a lot because the part I love most about being the brand owner is product development because that's the fun part. That's the creative part. But I think I'm going to be a little bit more like keeping those core products and really working to get those out and keeping our momentum up all the way through because after all, the Smoothie Bomb is $13.50. So it's affordable. It's not a big outlay for someone to be healthy. And you get 5 smoothies. So, and we also have bulk packs. So you can get a 15 pack or a 25 pack, which is even cheaper. So I think we can keep customers coming through while the recession's there, as long as we just don't overspend, because I think a lot of people they get into trouble when they overextend themselves in times like this. I think you've got to be conservative when you're in business and there is a little bit of rough time ahead. You've got to just be, be aware of where the spending is and be conservative.
That was Cinzia Cozzolino, founder and CEO of the Smoothie Bombs. This episode of Business Essentials Daily is produced by the team at SoundCartel. Thanks for listening. I'm Nicole Goodman. We'll bring you more Be Daily tomorrow. Follow at BE Daily Podcast across social media and head to bedaily.com.au for more from the Business Essentials Daily podcast. SoundCartel. This episode was brought to you by Forvis Mazars. To find out more, visit forvismazars.com/au. That's FORVISMAZARS.com/au.